Come on, Carlos.
Black now.
Oh man, we should have black and Mexican going at this.
Oh shit.
What do you think it's gonna do?